The Abbott is in the building. The RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang and American Saga Season 3. The final season, though? To talk about it, man, we got the RZA in the building. What up, man?
Oh, good. Thanks for inviting me in.
Is this the end?
Well, it's never the end. You know what I mean? As they say, the saga continues. But yes, this is the end of our Hulu series, third and final season. We set out to tell a story that started basically in 1990. We started that story, and we wanted to take it all the way through the 5-year plan, and we did it. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about it for me is that it's a map. I don't know if, like, you may remember back in the day, I was always like, yo, a 5-year plan. Like, Wu-Tang started from a 5-year plan. I'm telling everybody, have a 5-year plan, all right? And live through it.
Yeah.
And don't stop halfway on the road. You could get some gas, but don't turn around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And on the series, season 3, we actually see this 5-year plan and come to fruition, but also all the challenges that you got to face going through that,
No doubt.
Some wins, some losses.
Thinking back a few years ago when I think Straight Outta Compton came out, and that movie did phenomenally well, and everybody was like, who should get that type of treatment next? And there was 2 groups that were mentioned more than others. It was Run DMC and the Wu-Tang Clan. And everybody was like, absolutely. So what made you decide to go the series route versus going the theatrical route?
Well, first of all, of course, we love Straight Outta Compton, right? But even in that, some brothers didn't get their light.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. You can't tell Wu-Tang in 2-3 hours. You know what I mean? And so my original plan, when I went to my partner Alex C and to my co-executive producer Brian Grazer, was 10 hours. Let's do a 10-hour series. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But even then, it was like, I don't know. We need more time than that. Yeah. We need more time.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying it's a lot to get to, and 10 hours still ain't enough.
Yeah. So 30 hours, I think you get it. You should get it in 30 hours and get the gist of that path that we have to travel as a group of men. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And there's so many dynamic personalities within, Wu-Tang as a whole, right? And you get to see a lot of that in the series. Even just the beef that you didn't know was there in the beginning between Ghost and Ray. I was just talking about it with Shamik and Sadiq. And then Old Dirty Bastard and his antics, and everybody. But out of everybody in the clan, who's the funniest Wu-Tang member?
To me, the secret comedy will come from the GZA because he's just so uniquely witty. But on the surface, of course, you're gonna feel that it's ODB. You know what I mean? Mm. But the GZA is he has one of those. It's like if he was a comedian, he'll be Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? Like that wit comedian. But yeah.
He's very cerebral.
Yeah, very
everything
cerebral.
He does. And when you're telling a story, especially like something that's like comes from the streets, sometimes you got to twist some things, change some things. Like, whose storyline did you feel like you had to protect the most?
Well, what we did, right, was we looked at this story, and me, of course, living it, right, was like, what's the best way to tell it, as well as honor the music, honor the culture, right, and yet still be what Wu-Tang has always been, which is unpredictable. And so using those as our guidelines, we was able to weave a story that all the spiritual truths are there, you know what I mean? But we could play with it. You know what I mean? Just like when you listen to 36 Chambers, it starts off with some guy saying the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous. You're like, yo, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? But then Bring the Ruckus comes on. You go, okay, I can relate to that. Then the next guy comes in, Killer Bees. Well, what's a Killer Bee? And then can it be so simple? So all these ideas of what the music did, we wanted the show to do. And, look, we didn't go deep into a lot of the family, you know what I mean? Which we used my family as the foundation because it was my family that was, as me and my brother would say, everybody came to our house. Like, you know what I mean? That's where the equipment was at. So, of course, if you're going to come over, hang out, make songs, and of course, one of my best brothers, you know, he's gonna fall in love with my sister, right? Because it's just that familiarity that's happening, and that was, you know, a delicate subject as well. You know what I mean? To tell the story, you know, of Ghostface and my sister, because you know, it was a personal thing. But yo, they got 2 beautiful children out of that.
That's
you know
dope.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And on this season, we'll not to give too many spoilers, but yeah, we're gonna see how that relationship unfolds.
Nice. And even like, you know, anybody who knows like the Wu-Tang lore, they know about like even some of the biblical level struggles that you had to deal with, man. Like, you know, you had everything destroyed once by fire and then again by water, which
Yeah.
I know ultimately affected the output of, you know, Inspector Deck's first album, because from what I understand, that was a completely different album before the flood happened.
Well, the cool thing is this season we turn the lens a little bit and we see some of Inspector Deck's struggle this season. We see some of you guys struggle, some of Master Killer's struggle. We were very conscious to, like I said, you know, in 2 hours you couldn't be able to include everybody, but we were able to turn the lens and watch other members go through their thing. And even Capadonna, who was, you know, he was locked up on that first album, but then he came out. You know what I mean? And he had them ill verses on that Cuba Links and on that Iron Man album, and went on to become a gold artist. You know, which is not easy in hip hop. You can name a lot of hip hop artists, you know, especially in our generation. You know, some of your favorite artists were still 200,000-300,000 sellers. They wasn't gold artists. And Capadonna comes out of the system, joins the Wu family, and first album, bong, gold. You know what I mean?
Yo, and it speaks a lot about not only just the work ethic that everybody had, but also the entrepreneurial spirit that I feel like, you know, I don't feel like you don't get enough credit for it. Because even when you talk about the 5-year plan, even the fact that Wu-Tang Clan was in video games, you know, before there was even a Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to, is there any way we can get a remastered version of the Wu-Tang Shaolin style for, like, you know, next gen consoles?
You know, I was telling, I tried to tell Activision, but they gave me the rights back. So
dope.
So, you know, we'll see how we play with that. In fact, I think my brother Ghostface has a real unique video game idea that he's incubating right now. So let's, you know, the good thing about Wu is you never know which brother going to put their chi into which field and then bring it to the world. But as you pointed out, and you know, you try not to be egotistical, and the series will show that yeah, these are young artists, but also young black entrepreneurs. You know, the first hip hop clothing to appear in the windows of Macy's is Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? Of course, after that, many have come, but somebody have to kick the door open. And we're not shy to kick the door open, nor are we shy to leave footprints so others can follow behind us. And if we get the credit, bong bong, we take the credit. But if not, don't matter, because the job is done.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Somebody, yo, why you going to Hulu? Don't worry about it. Now everybody at Hulu.
Everybody. And the crazy thing, you know, speaking on like Wu Wear and stuff like that, I mean, we are like less than a mile away from where like the Wu Wear store used to be. I remember the first time I visited Atlanta, I was down here for like the Gavin or something, and I saw the Wu Wear store. It was just like, oh shit. You know, because like this is before the internet was super duper big.
Right.
And like, you know, you just couldn't cop stuff from everywhere. So it was just dope to be able to put your hands on it and just see the brick and mortar location.
Yeah, and that's, once again, that's that entrepreneurship. You know, a lot of us in the streets, we don't have opportunities to show that we have the talent to be entrepreneurial, be scientists, doctors, whatever we are. We get sometimes congested. But if we do get a chance to play, we expand. You know, when you watch this season here, you will see that expansion, because the members of the Wu, along with Power, along with Divine, are evolving to go from young men to young adults and young businessmen to full businessmen. You know, and the most I want this season to do, or even this series as a whole, is inspire a generation to know that, guess what, yo? the Wu-Tang, an American Saga, is a map. It's a map for any young man, white, black, yellow, red, you know what I mean, who's going through the American experience. Here's a map of a group of men who navigated it and were successful, even with all the obstacles. You know what I mean? And to me, the series stands on that.
Yo, dope, man. What's your Zen space? Like, where do you find your happiness these days?
I'm happy, yo. I got a beautiful wife, beautiful children, you know what I mean? Beautiful career, hip-hop, something that, you know, hip-hop 50th anniversary is this year. And at the end of the day, you know, I've traveled with hip-hop. Mm-hmm. I first heard hip-hop in 1976, yo, and never left it.
What was that first song you heard, if you remember?
It wasn't no songs. That's what I'm saying. We didn't have no songs out. It was just the DJ in the park plugged up to the lights, and he threw on the turntables. He was cutting the break beats back and forth. But I never forget the lyric that the MC said. He basically said, "Yo, you gotta dip, dive, socialize, clean out your ears and you open your eyes." And that's exactly what I did. I cleaned out my ears so I could hear, and I opened my eyes so I could see. You know what I mean? And I might have been like, you know what I mean, 7 years old, but it never left me. And I pursued it all the way to this day. You know what I mean?
Yo,
and live
man.
it.
Yo, every day. Congrats on the New York State of Mind tour, was just wrapped up.
Bum,
you know,
bum.
and it was good to see all the brothers together, you know, in certain cities. I know everybody couldn't make it to everywhere, but overall, like outside of season 3 of the Hulu show, what's next for the brand?
Well, that tour was successful. It actually got nominated for one of the best tours of the year.
Big up.
You know what I mean? The numbers were ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it was bong on the business side. And I felt re-energized because, you know, I wasn't doing a lot of live performances, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're looking, you know, we're talking, you know, us, Nas, you know, Busta Rhymes, thanks for joining us on that as well. We're talking about, you know, how do we continue that vibe, because it's a beautiful vibe.
Well, yo, indeed. Well, it looks like a 5-year plan is turned into a lifetime of just unlimited rewards, man. Yo, thank you so much for everything you contribute to just, I don't even want to say the culture, because it's bigger than hip-hop, to quote that Prez, man. Like, you go to a Wu-Tang show or anything that's Wu-Tang associated, you see all types of people there united under one flag. And to see, you know, y'all brothers put something together like that and have y'all vision pop up on the big and small screen in so many different ways, man. Like, as a student, it's the most amazing and most inspiring thing that one can see, man. So, yo, salute to you, King.
Thank you, family.
Yo,
Peace.
man, the RZA, Wu-Tang American Saga Season 3 on Hulu. Tap in. And if you missed Season 1 and 2, oh, you got some binging to do. Get it together, man. All in together now. Wu-Tang.
We are the morning hustle.